Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Should You Play, where I show you some spoiler-free gameplay and give you my thoughts after playing new games for a few hours, while also highlighting and checking out at least one of the PlayStation Plus games for each month. In this video I'm playing Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba The Hinokami Chronicles 2, the latest game in the Demon Slayer franchise and the direct sequel to the first Hinokami Chronicles game. Demon Slayer's never been my favorite of the more modern anime series, but I've still enjoyed watching it over the years and spending time with the characters in their universe. I also played a bit of the 2021 game a few years back and wasn't blown away by it, but with the first Infinity Castle movie coming out in the US in a few weeks, I thought I'd give the franchise another chance, so let's talk about it.
Let's go!
The story kicks off a few months after the events of Mugen Train and right before the start of the Entertainment District arc. From there, it follows the rest of the Swordsmith Village and Hashira training arcs, and while the game does provide a brief recap for the events that take place before this, you really should know what happens yourself, as it doesn't do the most amazing job at telling you who the characters are, why they're important, and what the conflict is.
I promise you this. I will defeat Muzan Kibutsuji, so that we can create a world free from sadness.
It's also not a perfect one-to-one adaptation, but it hits the major story beats and stays true to the characters, themes, and overall tone of the story. I do have to admit that ending with the Hashira training arc is also a bit of an anticlimactic ending to the game, but that's more of an issue with the source material rather than something specific to the Hinokami Chronicles 2. As far as game modes go, there are 5 main ones. Story mode lets you relive the main story arcs, complete with battles, cutscenes, light exploration, item collection, and some side quests across 8 chapters.
How entertaining.
Versus mode is the standard battle mode where you can fight against CPU or local players in arena matches, as well as enter into endurance matches where you take down opponents in time or stamina trials, whereas online match allows you to play with friends or strangers in ranked, casual, or group matches.
Fight!
The Path of the Demon Slayer is a smaller story mode where you can play through a selection of previous story moments, and Training Pass is a mini-tournament mode where you battle your way to a Hashira end boss. There's also menus that allow you to customize your profile, gear, cosmetics, and spend points to buy more items, but regarding gameplay specifically, you'll be sticking to those 5. There's also a tutorial section, but it's really bare bones and only shows you text and still images, so I recommend learning by playing rather than using it if you're new to these types of games. The Hinokami Chronicles 2 offers a pretty decently sized roster, but when you first boot the game up, you'll only have access to 20 of them unless you have any bonuses from pre-ordering, have the deluxe edition, or import save data from the first game. There are some obvious inclusions here such as Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke, but there are also some others that only exist in previous arcs such as Enmu and Suzumaru as well.
Let's have a ball.
Most of the others will need to be unlocked for the in-game shop or by completing the story mode, but it really doesn't take too long to get all of them into your game.
Are you sure about that?
After you do unlock the full roster, you'll have access to 46 fighters, but it's important to note that there's actually only about 30 unique fighters, as there's some characters like Tanjiro and Nezuko that have multiple forms, and some of the characters like a handful of the demons have an additional character slot that they share.
You don't stand a chance against us.
It's also worth noting that when you actually get into battles, some characters can't fight on outdoor maps during the daytime for lore reasons, but with a decent selection of fighters and maps, it offers a good amount of variety for an arena fighter. Story mode specifically mixes battles with quick-time events, light exploration, and simple side quests, which usually consist of talking to NPCs or retrieving items.
If you don't understand, I'll spell it out.
The structure can absolutely start to feel formulaic, but exploration areas usually aren't very big, so you can pick up some items, look around a little, and then move on pretty quickly. When it comes to the Hinokami Chronicles 2's combat, if you've ever played a CyberConnect 2 game before, be it Naruto, Jujutsu Kaisen, or Dragon Ball, the arena fighter combat will definitely feel familiar. You have light attacks, heavy attacks, throws, parries, and a few other moves such as ultimate attacks and special attacks. It's worth noting that combat is a bit slower than the other franchises, namely due to most of these characters just being strong humans rather than chakra-powered ninjas or sorcerers, but it's also significantly less floaty than the 2021 game felt. Playing as most of the non-demon fighters will also allow you to have a secondary character that you can use to assist you in combat, letting you recover from attacks, get a secondary attack in, or completely switch between the two during battle, and depending on which characters you choose, you may also gain access to a dual ultimate attack.
Things are gonna get real flashy! We're going all out!
CPU opponents aren't the smartest or most difficult enemies you'll ever come across, exemplified by the shot of Sabito running circles around me while I stand still, but boss fights in the story mode can still be tough. One of the bigger problems in the 2021 game was that it felt like you were mostly playing defense against bosses who could push you back at any time, and while that's still a bit of an issue here, it's a lot more manageable. As for the game's difficulty, if you lose a fight in the story mode, you'll always have the option to continue the fight where you died by sacrificing a higher score at the end of the mission, so if you're not concerned about getting a perfect score, you're more than welcome to use this feature to keep the plot moving. Visually, the Hinokami Chronicles 2 nails the Demon Slayer art style. It's not on par with the anime's incredibly detailed animations, but it's still gorgeous with a good variety of maps like the Butterfly Mansion, Swordsmith Village, and the wreckage of the Mugen Train. Cutscenes are a mixed bag, however. Some of them are fluid and action-packed, while the vast majority are almost static and overly long, hiding the need for any movement by showing your characters' backs or placing them in the distance so you can barely see them moving.
I can't watch this anymore!
Music and voice acting are both pretty great across the board, but the game does also alternate between sound effects and full and partial dialogue, and the inconsistency was a bit disappointing there.
Right.
One other small issue I had has to do with the minimap in story mode, as it was appreciated, but it didn't rotate with your characters, so it's a little awkward when you're first starting out and trying to navigate the world. The only other thing worth mentioning is that I also wish that there were a bit more variety in dialogue when picking items up, as you'll very likely hear the same 2 lines over and over again, and it can start to become a bit grating.
Okay.
Aside from those 2 things, overall presentation is one of the stronger aspects of the game, but I just wish that they were a bit more polished to push it from good to great. On the technical side, things are mostly solid. Load times are quick, and frame rates are steady in offline modes, and I didn't run into any major issues outside of a couple of odd camera collisions during exploration in the story mode, as well as some repeating dialogue.
Don't expect to leave alive. Don't expect to leave alive.
Online play is in a pretty rough state at the moment though, and over the course of about 15 online matches, I experienced low frame rates, significant input delay, and general sluggishness in the majority of them. It's technically playable, but there's some work that needs to be done before competitive battles can really be played with that issue, especially since it's going to be the main draw for a lot of players here. Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba The Hinokami Chronicles 2 is a solid sequel that sticks closely to the first game's formula, but makes some small quality of life tweaks to improve the experience.
I see. That's enough.
I do think that fans of the series are going to enjoy this a lot more than casual anime or fighter fans though, especially since the story mode throws you into the middle of the plot and the tutorial isn't very friendly to new players. The animations could use some polishing, a tighter narrative would have been appreciated, and online play definitely needs some work, but it's a faithful adaptation of the 3 most recent story arcs of the anime, and the larger roster and satisfying battles make this a strong arena fighter that fans are sure to enjoy, even if they didn't necessarily reinvent the wheel in the sequel.
You know what I mean?
As always though, this is just my opinion. Whether you've just started training under one of the Hashira, or you've already taken on an upper ranked demon, let me know in the comments what you think of Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba The Hinokami Chronicles 2.
Thank you. Safe travels.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
What just happened? It feels as if I got burned where I was slashed. Damn it. Why is he faster than before? None of this makes sense. Doesn't he feel any pain?